stress is, right? Stress is fear in a future outcome. The future does not exist. The future is some figment of our imagination that we create. So what stress is us creating this story in our head of fearful actions, negative repercussions from our actions right now. Bada bing, bada boom. Welcome to the Riff Podcast, episode number 33. Enjoying it. Can you tell? Has anything changed? Anything at all? Maybe.
Haircut?
What is it?
You get a haircut?
Dude, how'd you know? Thank you. No, I actually didn't. I got a haircut a couple weeks ago. No, dude, we're in a new place. First podcast traveling. I know we've traveled a lot throughout this, but we did pre-recordings and stuff. But I'm like, heck, if we're gonna do this for a long time, which I plan on doing, then we got to be okay with going different spots, setting up different locations, and being, just different spots. And plus, it's kind of cool. I think change of scenery every once in a while is kind of cool, even for the podcast. Maybe we need something that is. I mean, I guess me and you are in every podcast, but we need something that we can take around to each one or not.
Oh, you mean I know what you mean, but
yeah, I guess I don't really want a backdrop though. You know how annoying that would be to take everywhere. But why? Why are we traveling? Why are we here? Why are we doing the podcast here? Well, because it's officially September. All right, and this September is a crazy one. We have stuff going on throughout the whole entire month, nonstop, moving around, bouncing places here, there, everywhere, right? So next one's coming up is my 100-mile ultramarathon race. Okay, so I'm planning this for it's been about 4 months now, in the making, training, preparation, all that sort of stuff. Well, it's almost game time. All right, so we're up here in the mountains, getting acclimated to the elevation, trying to prepare and just settle down and rest and recover before the actual race, which is on Saturday. Right now, we're currently filming this on Wednesday, so we're a few days out, right? And so for this race in particular, first ever ultramarathon race that I've ever done, 100 miles specifically.
No, so you did the 50 miler.
Yeah, I did 50 miles. Well, but so that was almost in conjunction with this, I guess, because in order to run this one, I had to run the 50 miler. And so I signed up for this 100 mile, and then they were like, yo, you can't just sign up. You can't just out of blue go and sign up for a race. So I signed up for the 50 mile one in order to do this. Well, it turned out I did good on the 50 mile and ended up getting third place in the whole damn thing. And so now I'm running this race, and now there's a little bit of expectations with this one. And it's maybe not that's what I was talking about the other day, is a lot of people place expectations on themselves from an external source. Okay, so, right, I got third place in this last one. So other people are going to look at me and they're going to say, well, he's good at running. He's an ultramarathon runner, whatever, right? They'll place these labels on each other, on different people. Well, really and truly, I've never been a fan of labels. Never. Girlfriend, boyfriend, I don't like. Wife, husband, I don't like. Because it comes down to the person. Does the person believe the label in itself? You can call me real estate agent, but if I don't believe I'm a real estate agent, then am I? Am I practicing? Maybe I'm licensed real estate agent, so other people can call me that. But if I don't believe it, then am I? I don't know. And so for ultramarathon runner, am I an ultramarathon runner because I did one? Does that make me one? Or is it once I believe that I'm an ultramarathon runner, then I am? See what I'm saying?
I think it's just, it's what you define, because you can, I guess you're kind of right. You think about it, if you're just running this one and you're done, then you can be like, yeah, I ran an ultramarathon. And you can still say I'm an ultramarathon. It's just what you want to call yourself.
Exactly. That's what it is. Would you call me one?
I wouldn't, just because when would I ever say that? I would say he runs ultramarathon, or somebody asks me, oh, I heard Jake's an ultramarathon runner now. I'd be like, yeah, he is.
Yeah. But that's my thing, is it's putting these labels, I've come down to, I'm going to put the labels on myself. I'm going to put the expectations on myself, and I'm not going to let the stress and buildup of any external force cause myself to fail or perform in any way other than the way that I want it to. Right? So I started like thinking, I'm like, damn, I got third place in this last one. I'm like, shoot, I'm gonna have to perform better at this one because now there's expectations set on me because of this past race. But I'm just building this up in my head, and really and truly, it's like it's external pressure that doesn't need to be there. Right? I think Chris Bumstead has talked about this before, and I think a lot of legendary greats talk about this, where the external pressure that is put on yourself, like winning the first Mr. Olympia for Chris Bumstead was not, I mean, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't like that difficult, right? There wasn't that much pressure because he's the underdog. Now he won. The pressure comes when you're at the top of the mountain and you have to create a new top. Like, it's not even there. You're at the top, and then you have to like build and manufacture this new top level. And that's because these expectations and pressure are put on him he's won 3 years in a row, won 4 years in a row. He's got to win another one in a row. And what if he doesn't? Then he's falling off the mountain, right? And so for me, I'm like, for this race coming up, I'm not going to set, if I'm going to set expectation on myself, it's going to be from my own standpoint and what I want to achieve, not what I think the world is going to be happy if I achieve. Right? So for this race, like the first one that I did, I was like, I just want to finish. Like, my expectation is to finish. I didn't care what time. I didn't care. And I'm going to give my best effort no matter what I do. But expectations prior to the race being ran was just finish. So I'm going to do the same for this race. I'm not expecting to finish in any certain time. I'm not expecting to finish in any certain place. I'm going to do my absolute best, ultra best, pun intended. I'm going to do my ultra best during this ultra marathon and run it to the best of my ability. And so then what the outcome is due to the things that I put in place. Right? And I think this is a stoic value that a lot of people talk about. Do we need to fix that? we got the new setup. We got stuff going on everywhere. Wind blowing. It's hot. It's getting hot in here. So that's what we're in Colorado. There's no AC. There's no AC in here, and it's current. I mean, like I said, it's early September, like basically late August, early September, right? So it's still pretty hot here. What does it say over there? 78 degrees.
I bet it's a little bit hotter. Can't see, but I'm starting to sweat over here.
Yeah. So all this going, that's all right. That's all right. Sun's going down, so we'll be fine. But I mean, it comes. That's what I said for this race, man. It's not like I want to be excited about it. I don't want there to be pressure built where I'm not happy to go run. Right. I think that's what a lot of people do is they, especially when you're like doing it for your job or whatever, people put this pressure on themselves that they have to perform this way. Otherwise they're going to be a failure. And then it's not fun. You know?
I feel like there's still always that pressure before, though. Like, you can say like UFC fighters, for instance, or whoever, like even like NFL quarterbacks, like all of them say like, yeah, I get nervous before I go in there. Like, but like once you're in it, like you're in it, like you get in the zone, whatever. And then afterwards, the same, like I feel like almost going through any section of my life, like when you're in the moment, you have like stress or something about it, but then afterwards you look back and all you see is like how fun it was.
Yeah.
So then you like, when you look at that, like in the future, you're like, so there is no reason to stress. But I think you always will have something going on like in the moment that you just don't remember later on.
So,
you remember like the good stuff.
So yeah, to break that down, what stress is, right? To break down stress and like why do we stress out? It's fear. Stress is fear in a future outcome, right? Something that's going to happen to yourself in the future, right? And the future doesn't exist. Okay, so the future. I know. I'll break it down. The future does not exist. The future is some figment of our imagination that we create that is going to be time moving forward. However, time cannot be manipulated or changed, right? It is one. Time is here, time is now. And so the present time that we live in, this is the world. This is reality, right? What we're living in is this time, space-time, right? The future is not reality. It's what's made up in our own mind, right? The actual, like, literal, like, things that are going to happen, right, are either they have already happened in, like, God's plan, right? His meaning of what future is. But for us, we don't know what the future holds. Like, the future in our brains does not exist, right? We can make it. We can act like we're God and that we can create our own future. We can manifest this stuff. But you won't. Now, do I believe that you can connect with the spirit, like spirituality, and you can connect with a God and the Creator who knows what the future is and the plan, and you can bring that into your present time and act in a way in which your future can be a result of your present? Yes. But the future in itself does not exist. So what stress is us creating this story in our head of fearful actions, negative repercussions from our actions right now, and the things that we're doing right now. Okay, so stress is fear of our actions today that is going to result in a future that is going to be worse tomorrow. But yet, that future does not exist because it's still in our head, right? So stress is only in your head. It is not what you're doing right now, because right now I'm not stressed. In the present, I am not stressed. But when I think about the future, then I will be stressed. Because this might happen. This might not happen. There could be this asteroid coming down from the Earth. Oh, there could be global warming, right? There could be a new president that came out of nowhere, or a president that I didn't want to get elected. He could get elected, right? There's so many different stories that you can create in the future through your own mind that are not going to come true, right? They're not.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with what you're saying. I think it's how you worded in the beginning threw me off. But yeah, no, definitely.
It comes down to where the future does not exist.
Yeah, that's where it's.
I know it
doesn't
throws you
exist. You shouldn't stress about it or whatever. Because like it's the same thing as me saying like, I mean, it's just vocabulary. Same thing as you talking about like labels. Like you don't like labels, so you kind of have to have. Like you walk in with your wife to a place like, who's this? Oh, this is my lady friend that I've been connected to for 4 years. Like it's just vocab. Correct. It's like the same thing with like the future. Like I could say, oh, future doesn't exist. I'm gonna go spend all my money because future doesn't exist. Like, it exists. You shouldn't worry about it and like make up scenarios to stress about. So I definitely agree.
Correct.
Just the statement that throws me off.
Yeah, that's what I explained. That's why I just walk around and say, the future does exist. Yeah. Just keep on walking.
Then you're like on the street holding the sign and preaching.
Yeah, or if you are actually married and you don't like labels, just say, she's just a girl that I'm
friend.
With. Yeah, this girl that I'm with. She's with friends a label too.
She's been staying in my house for a few years.
Yeah. No, exactly. I'm with you. So to fit in society, right, to fit in the mold that the average people live in, right, you have to, yes, use vocabulary that average people understand. I understand that. What I want people to understand is that the way that I'm putting when I say the future doesn't exist, understand that. Whereas it's all in your head, right? Future is all in your head. It is not what is happening, what has happened, right? It's not. Now, that's one thing is the weather, right? The weatherman, how does he predict the future? Prediction, right? It's not real, but prediction. Predict the future based on your past or based on past weather patterns, those sort of things, right? They then predict, okay, the weather looks like this. It's probably going to do this. Probably. It's prediction. You can do that with your life, right? You can look in your past life and say, okay, well, I've been here, I've done this, so I'll probably do this, right? But you can also change at any point. And if you're like, yeah, you know what, screw that. I'm in the present. My actions today are going to result in a future for tomorrow. What do I need to do today that's going to result in this future that I want tomorrow? This plan that I made up in my head, the one that doesn't exist, how do I get this to actually exist? Right? And so you can do that. You can come up with that. You can create a plan. Then you can start actions, implementing those today. Things that you do today for them to exist. Because guess what? 3-4 months ago, I didn't think I was going to run 100 miles. But I didn't play. I mean, that wasn't in my head. I didn't think I was going to do that. And then a couple things got in my head. And it's like, what are you going to do next, Jake? You did the Ironman. what's next on the list? And I'm like, I haven't thought of what's next. So I started thinking what's next. And then I was like, you know what? 100 miles. Sounds like something difficult, a challenge. Let's sign up for this. I'm going to go run 100 miles. And then it was 3 months ago. Now here we are. Right now, this is the future. I ran 50 miles. I haven't yet run 100 miles, but my future and the actions that I'm taking today are going to result in the future in which, 100 miles is probably going to happen. Right? I mean, it may not. Once again, it's still in my head. Right? Future does not exist. Because we could walk outside and a meteor does strike and global warming takes over and we melt. Right? It could happen. It's another outcome. It's made up in my head. Right? But with the actions that we're taking today, things that we're doing today, is going to result in a future tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Probably going to be likely true. These things are going to happen. Right? So go out. Just try to honestly go out and just live life. Right? Don't stress about tomorrow or the next day or the next day. And zoom out and say, how far have you came? Has it been productive? Has it been progressive? Or has it not? And if it hasn't been, then something needs to change. If it has, then double down on it. You're going to have a better life in your future, and hopefully that one that doesn't exist that's in your head will start to have a plan, a guide of what can actually come true. All right, so that's going to do it for the podcast. Appreciate you watching, joining, viewing. The race is going to be on the YouTube channel, all right, very soon. So be looking out for that. Race day, we're filming like prior, stuff happening before, during, and after the race. So that'll be coming out soon on the YouTube. Go check that out, Jake Summers on YouTube. Otherwise, guys, we are here on the podcast every Monday and Friday, giving you the value that you need, that you want, and hopefully that you enjoy. If you do, hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, guys, take it easy, and we will catch you in the next one. Have a good one. Peace.